If he misses two, there's a flag because the Chargers were offsides. So could you imagine that on top of blowing a lead, missing the field goal, and then them getting to kick it again because
Staley actually pushed the guy offsides. He was on the field.
Yeah, Staley is the reason that the guy jumped off sides, and Staley is the reason that everything that didn't go right in the first half for the Jags went right in the second half for the Jags. They're on Staley right now.
Boy.
Everybody's on him, especially with Sean Payton available. And our friend Andrew Brandt. Who's former agent, lawyer, and executive for the Packers who did contract structure, basically. He tweeted out that was like, it's going to be hard for me to believe that Sean Payton's going to go to the San Diego Chargers when they have top five poorest owner in the NFL in the Spanos family. Still rich. Like, let's not get crazy. This is like calling Brock Purdy small, and you're just comparing him to offensive linemen in the NFL. Real life, Brock Purdy big, Stetson Bennett big, all these people. But in the NFL, top five poorest ownership groups, I guess, is the Chargers. And then obviously the Broncos are available. They are the richest owner in all of sports, so in all of the NFL.
Yeah.
And there's no cap on coaches' salary. So if Denver really wants to be the only one in the race for Sean Payton, they can just run up the number and nobody else will be able to keep up, including allegedly the Spanos family with everything else that they have to pay for, especially in LA. So it's certainly something to watch. But Herbert with Sean Payton, everybody assumes would be great. Staley's taking it on shins, though. You can't be the D coordinator and a former quarterback and a head coach and give up a 27-zip lead in the playoffs when everybody says that that's what your team has a problem with doing. So it sucks for Staley. Congrats to the Chargers. And Joey Bosa was right. That guy was offsides.
And it's pretty damning, too, the whole Bosa-Staley situation at the end. Like, do you read into that at all?
No, Bosa actually said, I threw my helmet down. He picked it up, tried to give it to me. I threw it down again. How does he look bad? I'm the one that looks bad.
Oh, okay.
So that's actually what Bosa. Bosa said, like, do not. This is not.
Not based on our relationship.
It's not like Bosa looked at Staley, shut the fuck up. And was like, keep my helmet on the ground. No, he was just so incredibly pissed off. I would like to know what he said to that ref. Because the way this was handled by Smith, right, Sean?
Yeah. Yep.
He was the Buffalo-Cincinnati ref who was in the middle of the whole thing. That's how I think the world was introduced to him, or he's been around a while. Him chasing down Bosa, asking him, what did you just say to me? And then throwing that 15-yard penalty. Fascinating. Very, very fascinating. Very huge, obviously, because it leads to a two-point conversion. I would not be one.
Unreal.
I don't want this helmet, is what he said to Staley, I think, but it was talked about afterwards. And the fact that it was Staley, wild. Like, you'd think a D coordinator or somebody would be able to pick that up instead of the fucking head coach, like that guy maybe. Kind of put Staley in an interesting spot. And then Bosa says, fuck it, I'm doing it again.
Right in his face.
But I'll be excited to see what happens with Staley. I have no idea what the right answer is there. It's only his second year there. Seemingly, they've gotten better. They made the playoffs. They didn't make the playoffs the last 4 years or whatever.
Very banged up.
But it is Herbert's rookie contract basically being done and no real success. And Sean Payton wants to live in L.A. and you have a quarterback and it's available. So that's going to only continue to heat up. But congrats to the Jags. Let's not take away from them.
A wrap. A lot of conversation that Staley's seat is hot. Is there anything that validates that claim? And will the Chargers possibly look into Sean Payton or even consider the thought of getting a new coach?
I have not verified that Staley is in any trouble. I'm not saying it's not going to happen. I've been surprised before, but I would be surprised. They won 9 games last year and 10 games this year. The loss was really bad. It was epic. I'd say not being able to basically get a first down and run the ball effectively in the second half probably hurt them as much as anything. Staff changes, I wouldn't be surprised by. That would make some sense. Shake it up a little bit. Make sure you get the absolute most out of Justin Herbert. If that is what happens, we'll see. I just haven't gotten the sense that Staley is in trouble. As far as Sean Payton,
they can't afford anybody else, right? That's what everybody's saying?
They can afford it. They're rich. But I don't think it's more of a value conversation than an afford, because it's draft picks and it's money. So the money is kind of like, like what a coach costs is like, the difference between a pretty good salary and a really good salary is like one very good player. But it's really more like, do you want to give up a first-round draft pick and more? Because that is what it's going to be for Sean Payton. And while I think he'd be interested, I've never gotten the sense that the Chargers would be interested.
Okay, so let's go ahead and just assume that Brandon Staley's going to be okay. And with that being said, second year, they get to the playoffs. Hadn't been able to do that for a long time. Yes, they lose after going up 27-zip, but as a person who's a fan of a team that was up 33-0 and then would go on to lose, know that there has been worse There will be worse, and this might be good for building of the culture of the team going forward. With that being said, I would also rather have Sean Payton than Brandon Staley if I were you. So you got to do what you got to do over there as Chargers fan.